We would like to talk more about the musical and theatrical worlds.
I work at MTI. I've been there 30 years at this point.
30 years?
Well, 28. I rounded up. Theater changed my life. It put me on a course that put me where I am today. It made me a better person. There's a place for everything in theater, and there's a place for everyone in theater. Make it fun. I mean, you know, I watched all these kids here. They were having so much fun, and that's the important part.
Sahabat Kajari New York, selamat datang, selamat sore. Pada sore hari ini kita kehadiran seorang tamu yang sangat istimewa. Beliau adalah Mr. John Prignano, CEO dari Music Theater International. Dan hari ini kita akan men-share experience beliau sebagai CEO dari Musical Theater International. Welcome to the Consulate General of Indonesia in New York.
Thank you.
Thank you for look at your time doing the podcast with us, Mr. John Prignano. And it is an honor for me to be here with you and to talk about.
It's my honor to be here.
Thank you so very much. And we are now, we would like to talk more about the musical and theatrical worlds that you are one of the leading example for the children around the world. But first, Music Theater International is one of the world's leading theatrical licensing agencies. So it's granting theaters and musicals performing around the world. And I believe you are one of the, you have many hats, but you also in the education for the kids as well. Could you tell us more about what childhood experience that made you into the theaters?
You know, I grew up in New Jersey, which is, you know, very close to here. I grew up literally in a city called Newark, which is right by the airport, if you know Newark Airport.
Oh, yeah.
I was very close to New York, but there was no arts experience in my young childhood. When I was about 14, I started to go to musicals, and I started to understand how music and theater is important, and it just got in my blood. And from that day on, I started taking classes, and my parents took me to dance classes and acting classes. And my first career, I was actually dancing for shows around the world. I did many shows where I toured not only the United States, but in Europe. And what I learned from all that is there are skills. Yes, you learn how to sing, you learn how to dance, you learn how to act, but the skills that you learn by doing that are everyday skills that you need as an adult, and it's given me the opportunity to be confident. It's given me the opportunity to learn and listen and pay attention, and I think that's the biggest part about theater that I think it's important in the education world, is listening and hearing. It gives you those skills, and it's given me the skills to do what I'm doing now. I work at MTI. I've been there 30 years at this point.
30 years.
Well, 28. I rounded up. 30. And I started out as the receptionist at MTI. I was answering the phones, and every time something came up, I'm like, I'll do that. I'll try that. I'll do that. And to me, it was all an acting experience. Like, just learning all that stuff was just same as learning acting. And that's where it got me here today. And my goal, theater changed my life. It put me on a course that put me where I am today. It made me a better person. It made me a more empathetic person. If I could do that for one kid every day, then my life is complete. Then I will be doing what I want to be doing. Because I do think it's important, especially today with technology and all of the distractions that kids have from day to day, that theater and learning and reading become part of their everyday, and it gives them an opportunity to step out of the world they live in and be in another world and being in another place and be a different person. And I think that's important growing up.
Thank you so much. And we are really happy to see that theatricals or musicals capabilities early in the children's life is making us so much good qualities in life and their adulthood.
Yeah.
And in this, considering the importance of this culturals and also how to develop as a adult, do you have any approach considering for us like Indonesia? We have many rich tapestry of traditional folklores that probably could be elevated into the global stage. Do you have any sort of like suggestions or sort of like recommendation for us as a country, as a cultures?
Yeah, I mean, theater at its heart is just storytelling. The reason theater started is so that cultures could tell their story and they live on, they go on from generation to generation, right? That's the basic idea of what storytelling is, and that's what theater is. Tell your stories. I mean, I think your stories are going to be going to intrigue people. I think they're going to give people an opportunity to understand who you are as a community, who you are as a nation, and make it fun. I mean, I watched all these kids here. They were having so much fun, and that's the important part. If you have fun, the audience will have fun.
Right. So basically, there is no sort of special requirement for folklore stories.
No,
can be elevated in the global stage. Every stories basically have chances.
Everything. I mean, think about Little Mermaid. That's based on
my daughter's love.
A traditional fairy tale.
Yeah.
Folklore, and why not? Why not do your version of what that means to you, for you and your culture? There's a place for everything in theater, and there's a place for everyone in theater, and you just have to be passionate about it. And it takes a while, developing something and getting it to the point where it's actually performed or even licensed could take years, could take decades. I know, there's some people that have been developing shows for 10, 15 years, and then nothing, then all of a sudden something happens and they find the right producer, they find the right partner, and it gets out there and it becomes a global phenomenon.
Wow, thank you so much for your word of advice and also positivity on how we shape the futures. My next question is about of course, for nations like Western civilizations, there's sort of like opportunities and a stage right now. But back in, for example, our country, Indonesia, is sort of like having Eastern culture, and we have like different sort of like beliefs and norms. What kind of advice to those who want to build these kind of theatrical and musicals, cultural towards its cultures like Indonesia?
Look, I think, like I said, I think there's a place for everything. I think you have to be respectful of the beliefs. I think you have to be respectful of what people accept, but push the envelope a little bit. Try and, introduce different ways of doing things. I think, what you're doing with Camp Broadway, with Camp Broadway Indonesia, I think is amazing. I think, it's bringing Western ideas to Indonesia, but remember again, you can do it in your own way. You can be respectful of who you are and what it is you want to accomplish and what the story you want to tell. So I think you are absolutely have a vision for what for what you want your young adults to experience and be. And I've watched that between yesterday and today, and I've watched that vision come to life, and it's pretty impressive what you have accomplished and what you're looking to accomplish.
Thank you for the word of encouragement. And yeah, we are in the beginning of development to build a better musical and theatrical performing arts for our kids. And do you have like sort of a message for our kids, Indonesian kids, that what kind of training and advice that, besides having fun, of course, to have, such experience in the global stage in the future?
It's all about having fun, but it's all about being your unique self. About being you and bringing yourself to the experience, and experience every moment. Like, don't be afraid to try and sing, and don't be afraid to try and dance, and don't be afraid to act, because everyone can sing, everyone can dance, everyone can act. You just got to allow yourself that much courage to go do it and enjoy it. And just enjoy it. Theater is made to be enjoyed, right? It's an enjoyment for the audience. Yeah. But if you're not, like those kids today, they were having so much fun. Everyone around us was smiling, right? Because they were having a good time. That's what it is, connecting with the audience on that level brings the audience along with you on your journey.
Wow, amazing. And Indonesia, we have like a contribution from government as well, quite significant compared to, for example, in the USA. You have a very big private entertainment ecosystem. Do you have any suggestion for us in the government on how to approach this kind of, how to promote the ecosystem better in the future?
Again,
the next point.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is asking the right questions, and you're taking the steps in the right direction. The fact that you have, support from the government is huge, and I think whatever you can do to keep that support and grow and nourish that and make them a partner in all that you're doing. Once the government becomes a partner with you, they take personal pride in what you're doing, right? So follow that path and just keep going and say yes to everything. Say yes. So one thing I say to kids when they're like, should I do that? Like, I have a lot of friends whose kids are going to college and doing stuff, and they'll say, should I try this? Should I do this? I'm like, say yes. What's going to happen? You're not happy, you get out of it. You just say yes to everything, because everything is an experience, and you don't know what that experience is going to lead to.
Thank you so much for your advice. And yeah, this is for the conclusion of our podcast today. Probably the most important questions. What is your favorite, personal favorite Broadway plays or musicals ever?
That's so hard, because it changes.
And why?
Yeah, it changes. I mean, one of my favorite musicals is Into the Woods. there's something about it that gets inside me and makes me want to express who I am and express how I want to be, because that's what Into the Woods does, you know?
Yeah.
I also think the score is beautiful, and how Stephen Sondheim's words are so right and specific in each one of those moments, that the story, again, it's storytelling, that the storytelling is very obvious in that musical, and that's kind of consistently one of my favorites, but I have different ones throughout my life.
Thank you so much. I think it's very interesting, and we believe that your future endeavor will be successful. And you know, this is our wish that probably the MTIs also could, you know, actively engage with Indonesia in the future.
Well, I hope to do more with you and
Thank you so
work
much.
and help develop your theater and education, and I look forward to that, because again, you're asking the right questions, you're doing the right things, and I hope we can find a way to keep partnering as we go forward.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Terima kasih, Sobat Kajari New York. It's been an honor to have you today, and I wish you a successful for your whole activities in the future. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you very
John.
much.
Thank you so much.